We're watching a very high-class player. This is when you know AB de Villiers is at his best.
Good morning. It's the 2nd of April, and I'm just thankful the 1st of April is done and dusted, because I got absolutely hammered with April Fool's jokes, pranks, and all sorts. I fell for quite a few, and after a while, I realized halfway throughout the day, that's enough now. Anything that sounds or comes across as a bit weird is probably weird and not true. This is a bit of a private story, but I own a piece of land with a partner, a game farm, who told me we should get elephant on the farm. And that was early in the morning, and I said, you know what, they will probably cause a bit of havoc, and with the ecosystem might not make sense. But I agreed eventually, only for him to tell me April Fools. So yes, I am a sucker for that. I'm very thankful that the 1st of April is done and dusted, and very thankful the 2nd of April is here, because we are heading to the Chinnaswamy. Before we get there, a really good result yesterday for Punjab Kings, as they got another win, and very different to the previous seasons, as they went bang, bang, right? Find themselves alongside RCB at the top of the table, also Delhi Capitals there. A whole different look in the points table. And will this year be different? I guess there's a really good chance of that, as we see some really powerhouse teams, not only the main guys like CSK, MI, KKR, that usually find themselves at the top of the order. Things have changed up a bit. There's the points table quickly. RCB at the top with a great net run rate. So really a couple of good wins there for them. And they're heading to the Chinnaswamy. Now, the first thing that comes to mind to me is complacency. And I'm hoping my RCB friends won't be complacent with the coming game. It's a very important heading home for them to the Chinnaswamy Stadium. Great back-to-back away wins, but now it's time to really build on that momentum. Don't be complacent. Stick to that game plan more than ever. And when you do get an opportunity to pounce, have a full go at your opposition and make it count. There is the fixture. That is today at 7:30 p.m. IST over here in South Africa. That will be 4 p.m., which is fantastic. Just as we get into the back end of the day, there's a cricket match starting every single day over here in SA, which is wonderful. It is also before bedtime for my children, so they get to watch every single IPL match with me. And oh my word, my middle one, John, is a bag full of questions. He wants to know everything about cricket, everything about, he calls Virat Mr. MRF. Quite funny, but I told him, well, there's another Mr. MRF playing against Virat today, and that's Shubman Gill, who recently went over to MRF. So there will be two main guys for MRF batting tonight. We'll see who gets the better of the other. But yeah, Rajat Patidar's troops up against Shubman Gill. You see Jos Buttler, Siraj there coming back to Chinnaswamy, but not in an RCB shirt today, which is a bit odd. And I was a bit disappointed at the auction that we couldn't get a hold of Mohammed Siraj, the magic man, I called him back in the day. Just a bag full of energy, this guy, and he always gave it his absolute best. Loved his attitude at RCB, and the way he plays the game is exactly how all youngsters should be playing the game. Give your best on the field, no friends on the field. We are there to win, and off the field, he was an absolute legend of a guy. Very down to earth, very nice man. I'll take a quick question, guys, and on that, also post your questions down below. I would like to hear if any of you fell for April Fools, and what happened. Were there any pranks? There were lots of stuff happening over here in my household yesterday, as my kids caught wind of this April Fools thing, and they tried everything to catch me. And obviously, after a while, after running to the elephant joke early in the morning, I was sort of I was ready to take on any April Fools jokes after that, so I didn't fall for any more. I did entertain my kids a bit and pretended like I didn't know what was going on. Anyway, Justice Servant, what changes do you expect from RCB today? Rashik in place of Suyash. By the way, big fan, so thank you very much. Because of the impact player rule, I don't think we need to make too many changes. Maybe you can swap around a bit and start with your seamers and then maybe have an impact player as a spinner and not the other way around. As we have a look at that full squad, there's plenty of options. And that's what Andy Flower got right and Team RCB at the auction this year. I love the look of this team. There are so many different balances you can play with. You can literally take on any conditions. You can play at home. You can go away from home. You can tweak your team according to the opposition you play against. So which is wonderful to see. Lots of options. I'm not exactly sure what they'll come up with. No one knows what to expect of the Chinnaswamy wicket in the very first game of the season. So I think once they get this first game out of the way, which in my opinion calls for a very just a well-balanced team. Don't try and be fancy. You have the impact player rule in place where you can have that bench and sort of make that a well-balanced impact player bench so that you can have options. So I don't know what you call you guys. We'll see. All I know is that's a wonderful squad with lots of options. And it's up to Rajat, Andy Flower, Virat, everyone adding a bit of value with regards to knowledge they have of the Chinnaswamy. Look at the past games. What happened in the first matches? What was an average score? Did the seamers dominate? Did the bowlers dominate? The spinners, I mean, or the batters? And what kind of game plan or blueprint can we sort of adopt on the day? So we'll see what they come up with. It's very exciting as we'll get a good feel for how they're going to be playing their home games. And as I mentioned so many times before, really important to play solid cricket at home and get your home fan base excited about your season, which they already are. But there's no use in winning all the away games and losing all the home games. You'll sort of lose connection with your crowd. So we really need RCB not to be complacent today, calling out for attention to detail, high energy, high intensity cricket, and a real clear game plan. Plans to Jos Buttler, guys. He's one of the best players in the world. He recently moved to GT. There we go. That's the question. He is dangerous. I fully agree. Especially at the Chinnaswamy. If the wicket is good, we don't know what it's going to be playing like. If the wicket is good, he is a handful. And what kind of plans can you come up with? I don't know. I think he's a bit slower off the mark against spin initially. That's not a bad ploy to start off with. Keeping in mind he does play in the power play or bats in the power play. So it's always a bit of a risk, especially at the Chinnaswamy, to bring on a spinner. But I think that is not a bad option, especially someone like a Krunal Pandya, who's very clever with his change of pace, his changes of lengths and lines, and he's never scared of experimenting. You know, if he knows a batter is coming after him, he sometimes throws it to the wide line. I've even seen him bowl it down leg on purpose so he can try and get a stumping when a batter is coming down. He's quite a creative bowler and a bowler that thinks on his feet, which I really like. So maybe he's not a bad guy, but it is risky. It can go wrong, but sometimes you do have to take a bit of risk to get reward. And I think Krunal Pandya will be a calculated risk against Jos Buttler. Let's have a look at RCB and their advantage playing at home. I see a question about that. What do you think RCB has a good advantage on home ground due to short boundary? Look, against GT, their matches played 5, 1-3, where GT's 1-2. Obviously, the other way around with the losses. Higher score, pretty similar. Lower score, I won't look into that too much. The stats don't tell us too much there. But it is a smaller field, the Chinnaswamy Stadium, but it's all about the pitch. And whether it's going to be more helpful for the seamers or the spinners. If the batter's on full flight and it's a flat wicket, no bowler can hide. And then it's up to really good changes in strategy for Patidar and also Shubman Gill to sort of try and get an edge on the opposition. So very difficult to stop the batters there. It's almost like you're defending boundaries as a bowler when the wicket is good. I'm not expecting a wicket that good, though, in the first game. I'm expecting one that will play a little bit more balanced. I think the spinners will be in the game. I think the seamers will be in the game initially. There will be a bit of swing. And the batters will need to set a base. As we've seen at the Chinnaswamy before, if you lose a bit of momentum, it's really tough to get back into the game. Talking about momentum with bat against ball, I have spoken about these high-scoring games before, and there was a question about it in one of my previous sessions. And I told you guys, just hang in there. I promise you the bowlers will be back. And we've certainly seen that in the last couple of games as the scores have come down considerably. I think the change in trend was already in that last game in Hyderabad where we saw a 190, not that 270s anymore. And all of a sudden, all teams sort of started coming down as we saw them traveling quite a bit, playing in different conditions. And the wickets over there in Hyderabad specifically getting a little bit tired. I think there were one maybe overused or used twice. And yes, it will get fresh again. There are quite a few options in the middle. But the scores won't just be 200 plus in this season. I promise you that. The bowlers have bounced back and they sort of put their pin in the ground and said, all right, batters, you've had a bit of fun at the start of the tournament. We needed the fans to enjoy that. But now we are back in the tournament as well. So be aware. The bowlers will certainly bounce back. But yes, advantage for RCB, first of all, just back to that question, they are playing at home. Number one advantage, the Chinnaswamy Stadium, the Bangalore fans, Bengaluru, they will be streaming in. Haven't seen the team 1-2 in a row. It's very exciting. I'm incredibly excited. And can they go 3 in a row, perhaps? We'll see. Lots of experience in the team, well-balanced, and they have no reason why they can't put GT under immense pressure at home. I don't even know what they're going to do if they win the toss. As I said, it will take experienced players like Virat and a few others to go out there, have a look at the wicket, and then make a decision on what you're going to do first. So we'll see what they come up with. As the game progresses, we'll do a bit of analysis. I'll definitely check in with you guys this weekend to let you exactly know what I think happened in that game and how RCB is going to use their home advantage moving forward. All right, moving on to the next one, guys. Do you think RCB went wrong in releasing Siraj? Difficult question. I won't say they went wrong. It's disappointing because it would have been nice to have Siraj there. He's a wonderful player, as we know. He adds a lot of value in the team. He is a bit of a joker, clown off the field. He makes everyone laugh. He's just a great energy to have in the team bus, on trips, at home. He's always full of fun. On the park, unfortunately, you'll have to say RCB went wrong because they're playing against him today. And he's quite a handful when he gets it right. He knows the Chinnaswamy inside out. And if he gets his tail up, it will be a force to be reckoned with for RCB. So we'll see what they come up with, what Siraj comes up with. Hopefully RCB will have the answers to counter whatever he throws at them. You will definitely have a point to prove, right? It's like when someone disappoints you or you dropped or you lose a job, you go somewhere else, and a year or two later, you come back to the old boss and say, look at my work now. You must regret the fact that you let me go, right? So we'll see. Hopefully Siraj won't get that pleasure. And hopefully also, because I mean, he's a good friend of mine. I don't want him to go for too many runs, but I really want RCB to win. So it's a big player that they've lost, but they also gained some proper bowlers. I mean, look at Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Comes with a lot of experience, some great skill at the death, which RCB has been lacking for many years. So maybe we didn't lose out too much. We'll see. As there's the squad again, guys. So many options, as I mentioned before. Let's move on. The Gujarat Lions, I see. We'll see. AB, tell you about innings in green jersey against Gujarat Lions. I was about to say, I haven't seen that name for a long time. 2016. It was a very memorable year. Yes, it always comes with a bit of a bitter pill because we lost in that final. And I can't look at those highlights of the final because it's every time I watch the highlights, I just go like, AB, why didn't you stay patient? There was so much time still. You needed to just bat for another 2-3 overs. But we're not going to get into that. Let's talk about the Green Day special times as I batted out there with Virat, my biscuit, for quite a few hours. Well, not a few hours. I think it was like an hour and maybe just over an hour. We both didn't face a lot of balls, but it was chaos out there. We were both in really good form, saw the ball well, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I was off to a flyer, and when I sensed a bit of weakness in the bowling department, it was fifth gear all the way through for me. So Virat approached it a lot differently to me. He sort of allowed me to have a bit of freedom. because he knew that if he got out, I would have had to go back to third gear, sort of consolidate a bit and then go again. So he identified that, pulled back a bit for me and said, Abes, have fun out there. My time will come. And eventually he got a bit more of the strike towards the back end of that innings, and he caught up with me and played an incredible knock. It was a very memorable knock. I've always been a big fan of day games. Why? Because you can clearly see what the wrist spinners are doing. That's some of the only times I ever picked someone like a Rashid Khan and so many others. And when you play day games, you can really see the seam better. You can see what they're doing with their wrists a bit better. So I always licked my lips when it came to day games. Night games, not too bad. But I was always a bit wary of the wrist spinners, as it's quite tough to pick a spin at night. You see someone like a Noor Ahmed, and how he's a lot better at night because of that reason. It's difficult to pick Kuldeep Yadav. You name all the wrist spinners who have a really good disguise. They are much easier to play in daytime. Alrighty, moving on. Talking about routines. What did your daily routine look like as a cricketer, and how did you train yourself mentally? For me, it was just, I think, just whatever my gut feel said on the day. As I got a bit older, at the age 25 onwards, I think I got a lot smarter in the way I prepared for cricket games, and my routines got a lot more ritual-like. I was never superstitious, but I enjoyed doing things in a similar way so that I could get that same kind of feeling going into the game, which would be freshness, energy, that kind of feel of just focused, switched on, attention to detail. The minute I got that feel, I knew I was on and ready to roll. Guys, I wanted to touch on quickly something that I saw last night that upset me a little bit. And this is not having a go at the bowler at all. All right. So this is not a personal vendetta against anyone, but to all players who enjoy celebrating, please don't make your celebrations about the opposition. And this is not against Vignesh. On this occasion, he was the guy to do this. Walked up to Arya, the guy got out, and really, in my opinion, sort of embarrassed him. And I don't like that about cricket. Players that do celebrations, make a celebration about, yes, I mean, throw a fist bump to the opposition and say, whoa, I won that battle. Yes, baby, come on. I was better in that moment. I handled the pressure. But to stop everything and to try and embarrass an opposition player in front of thousands of people, I mean, that guy is a youngster. He handled it exceptionally well. So big credit to Arya for walking off and not retaliating. He kept his head down and he just kept walking. But to me, that's very upsetting. When bowlers did that to me, it really sort of told a story about him. So, but coming back to Vignesh, I know he's probably a very nice guy, just a highly competitive person who went for a few boundaries and possibly overreacted, but encouraging him and all other players who make their celebrations personal, please stop that. It really hurts the game. So it's terrible to see. If anything, maybe there was a bit of revenge, as some of the crowd also did that motion at the end when they lost. That is Lucknow Super Giants now. But all in all, good game of cricket. The scores were a lot lower. Punjab Kings absolutely breezed through that. Shreyas Iyer and his team, they look dangerous. Ponting saying that Shreyas has got his plans in place, and it's clear to see, right? They're a very determined team and determined to show everyone that they can and will, they at least believe they will win the IPL, or can at least go to the knockouts. It's looking good for them, very organized and very good. Back to Vignesh, it's not a personal attack to you. Just stop doing that. Go crazy, run around the field, make the celebration about yourself and your enjoyment of your success, to your teammates, perhaps, your crowd. Never make it a personal, emotional thing. Not on. Any such thing as speaking too early in long tournaments? Oh, absolutely. I've been a part of teams that's done that before. It's more a mental thing than anything else, psychological. Thinking about it too much sometimes is a bad thing. You can sometimes hear the commentators saying, are they peaking too early? To me, I always wanted to start well personally, individually. But when I got really hot in the first 4 or 5 games, I almost started going like, is there something going to go wrong? But once again, it's our insecurities. There's actually no such a thing. If you win all 16 games of the IPL, fantastic. Why not? The odds say you're bound to go through a bit of a dip at some stage, and that's why people sometimes overthink it. But it is a thing. It really is a thing. And sometimes you run out of a bit of steam. 1 or 2 of your key players lose a bit of form, and then the entire team start doubting themselves. So it is something that can happen, but not 2 from 2, guys. We're talking here when you have 9 from 10 games, 9 wins from 10, 11 from 12. And then you get close to that knockouts, and the commentators and the journalists and everyone starts calling for, when are they going to slip up? Have they left their worst for last? So that's where it really starts playing a role. Not initially. Win as many as you can. Go for it. Guns blazing. Your rhythm will change throughout the season, as it is a long tournament. So sometimes you can have a bit of a momentum changer. But please notice, guys, there's not one team without a win, which is very healthy and great to see. And once again, shows you how many quality teams there are in this year's tournament. There's just nowhere to hide. Everyone's coming out red hot and trying to win as many games as they can. All teams are still in it, as everyone's had a win somewhere along the line. So something to hold on to. And even though KKR, for instance, 1 from 3, plenty of time to come back, and always that one win to look back on and go like, you know what? We know how to do it. We won last year. We've had 1 win already this season. Let's build on it. Alrighty. Let's talk a bit about KKR and the issues. I saw a question about them. What do you think about KKR? Where have they to fix? Very, very big fan, sir. Thank you very much, Shoaib. I don't think there's anything wrong with KKR. They are sort of just going through a bit of a speed bump, if anything. Having won last year, they still maybe a bit hungover from that. At least it looks like it. But they have world-class players in that team. And maybe in the batting department, they should be a bit better. I mean, 116 is just simply not good enough, no matter where you play. I don't care if the wicket is difficult. You have to be true to yourself, and at the end of your innings, feel at least that you've read the conditions well. You've understood that it's a bit tougher, and maybe 160 is par and not 220. Maybe that's where they went wrong, not knowing what a good score was at the Wankhede Stadium, looking at the past results. And that's where stats are sometimes very dangerous. You get an idea of a total in your mind. You look at years 2008 to 2025 and IPL Wankhede Stadium, the average is probably about 180. So you have that in your mind, and you find yourself three or four down early on, and then you don't have the ability to shift gears because you're stuck with that 180 total in your mind. Maybe it was a 140 wicket or 150 wicket. So important for the senior guys to step in and to analyze the game as it progresses. Same with the bowling attack. You have to figure out as soon as possible what's a good length to bowl, what's the best ball to go to if I want to get a wicket, what's the best ball to go to if I want to restrict the runs or stop the boundaries from happening. It's all different things that you have to figure out during a game. No stats can tell you anything. You can have 3,000 meetings leading up to it, analysis about players. You have to, on the day, go, and you see Josh Hazlewood is probably one of the best players in the world with us. Yes, his length stays pretty similar, but there will be about a yard in change from game to game, and he figures it out probably faster than most other players. Bumrah and many others quickly figure out what's the danger ball for the batter, what's the perfect length for them to find it uncomfortable to score, and if I am under pressure, what's my go-to delivery? Is it a bouncer? Is it a wide Yorker? Is it a leg cutter perhaps? What's the wicket doing? Is it sticky? Is it skidding? Lots of things to think about and lots of things you have to adapt to on the day and that you can't prepare for. So that's where KKR probably is going wrong at the moment. They'll have to find the senior players to step in and to analyze a bit better on the day. Mumbai Indians, finally, they got a win under the belt. I thought they handled it very well, showed attacking intent early on. Ryan Rickleton having a full go. Sharma Rowett just hanging back and saying, Mr. South Africa, just you have a go and take it forward for us, which he did on a very tricky wicket, 62 of 41 balls. So well played, Ryan Rickleton. He is a class act, guys. Keep an eye out for him. He's going to score a lot of runs for MI this season, I believe. He's in fantastic form, and that was a very, very tough wicket to bat on. Never in 1,000 years a 116 wicket, more like a 160, I would say. But this guy, keep an eye on him. He's absolute class. All right, moving on as we are almost reaching the final stages of this 360 Live. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, guys. Also follow me in socials as per usual. We will be doing a lot of live sessions during this IPL, as my team and I have decided we need to stay up to date with the trends and the results and the upcoming fixtures. There's no use in recording episodes and releasing it a day or two late. Also, I've got great news. I did a fantastic interview with one of the IPL players a couple of days ago, and it will be going out soon. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it will be going out tomorrow. All right, so keep an eye out for that. Put that notifications on the show, hit that bell notification at least, so that you can be notified when this will be released. It's a very cool interview with a very down-to-earth, fantastic cricket player that I love chatting with, some great words of wisdom, and he's got a very bright future ahead of him. Let's pull up that last question then, guys, as I'm going to say goodbye after this. Punjab Kings or RCB, which one is more competent? Come on, we're going to the Chinnaswamy. There's only one team, RCB. I really believe RCB's team is flawless this year. Every team has a few weaknesses, so does RCB. But I love the balance, which I feel is one of the biggest strengths this season, and probably the best balance of all the teams out there. I really enjoy what I see there with that squad. Might we lack a bit of firepower here and there? Who knows? Only time will tell, but look at that. Kohli, Patidar, full salt. Padikkal still there. Fantastic. He looks in great form. Then the bowlers, Hazelwood, Bhuvi. It doesn't come much better than that. Yash Dayal. You don't have to really go much further than that, guys. But look at that list of other bowlers. Suyash, fantastic. Krunal Pandya, absolutely wonderful. Great all-rounders. Livingston, Tim David. Tim David looks like he's going to score 100 off one ball soon. So he looks so aggressive, and with a base in place, with a Virat Kohli that sets the base up front, a Patidar full salt that's attacking, Padikkal who can play all-round cricket, and then you have a Livingston and a Tim David, Jacob Bethel. I mean, guys, come on, do me a favor. That is balance for you. Just a wonderful, wonderful squad. And the most important of it all, they look happy. They look determined on the park, and that's really what excites me. So RCB for the win. Keep an eye out for that game coming up. I am closing down shop because I have a meeting at 8:30 South African time right now. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank goodness 1st of April is done. Follow me on socials. And also subscribe to the channel as per usual. I watched a very, very funny video that I might share with you guys. It's two elderly parents that did a selfie video to, I think, their daughter, and saying that they miss them, but they got the giggles looking at themselves on the mobile screen. It's very funny, so maybe I'll ask the team to post that. Absolutely hilarious. And I mean, I find things to laugh about as often as I can during a day. Life can be tough at times, but sometimes we just need to laugh at ourselves. Don't take ourselves up too seriously. Have an impact on someone else, and just have a wonderful Wednesday. 1st of April is gone. Thank goodness. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys this coming weekend. Go RCB. Cheers for now.